The triangle has 3 sides. It will have 3 angles as well. So the angle is the distance from the 2 sides, like how far apart the sides are from each other in kind of an arc. And that angle would just be called A. It's only the corner itself, A. Or like we have angle B, that's the top, comparing the distance from those 2 sides, that's just angle B or angle C. So what inequalities in triangles asks you to do is it asks you to compare the sides versus the angles. They actually are related to each other. So if we knew some information about our sides, we knew this was like 4, and this was 5, and this was 7, we could put the sides in order from smallest to largest. We know the smallest side is BC. We know the middle is A to B. And we know the largest is A to C. Well, knowing that information actually also makes it so we can tell what order the angles would go in. Even though we don't have an angle measure, they didn't tell us this was like 25 degrees inside here. We can figure out which angle's the smallest, which angle's middle, which angle's the largest, comparing it to the sides. So the smallest side was B to C. The smallest angle is the one across from it, or in other words, the one not touching the side at all. Which angle isn't touching B to C at all?
You said which angle is not touching B to C? I'm lost.
So remember on our first picture, we know that there's the angle A, the angle B. I should have written in angle C.
So which is not touching B?
Yep. So B would be touching that side. Angle B is the distance from that side to the other. So it's literally connected to that side there.
So it's A.
Yep. So that means the smallest angle is angle A. The middle side is A to B. Sorry, neither of those are very much on the triangle. So what's the middle angle?
The middle angle is AC.
Angle C.
Okay, so I don't have to say AC, it's C.
Yeah, the angles only have the one letter.
Okay.
Yep. A to C is the side because it starts at A and ends at C.
Okay.
So what angle is across from side AC?
You said AC?
Which one?
You said what angle do we have on AC?
Which angle is not on AC? When it's across, we want it to be not on the line AC.
Okay, that would be B.
So that's the order of the angles from smallest to largest. Notice it wasn't alphabetical, it went A, C, B. It could have been alphabetical depending on the information, but it doesn't have to be.
Okay.
So you can do the opposite. And the opposite is if they give you the angles, but they don't give you the sides. So this time we give the angle measures instead of having any information about the sides.
Wow. Okay.
So which one's the smallest angle? Because they just tell you a number and it's the smallest number of the angles.
Um, but you put letter. Okay, I'm not look at the letters. We talking about angles, right?
Mhm.
The smallest angle is 24.
Good. So what letter is corresponding to that 24? What letter would we call that angle?
C.
C, because it's on that corner.
Right.
So angle C is the smallest. What's the middle angle?
128. B. No, angle is 128.
128 is going to be the largest because it's the largest number.
So you said what's the middle?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now you lost me when you said the middle. Would it be, would it be the 28?
The 28, because 28 is bigger than 24, but it's still smaller than the last one.
Okay.
So it's the next biggest.
Yes.
And then what is the biggest?
The biggest is 128.
Mm-hmm.
B.
Good. So once you have those aren't the actual answer to the question. That's just setting up your thought process and saying, okay, those are smallest to largest, because the question would ask you to put the sides in order from smallest to largest.
Oh. The size.
So now, since we know C is the smallest, we want the side not touching C. It has nothing to do with C at all, which we sometimes say is across from angle C.
28.
So 128 or 28, those are also angles. Remember, our sides are actually starting at a letter, ending at a letter.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. So not touching C, that would be AB.
Good. So AB is the smallest side. So we said our middle side was A. So the middle angle was A. What's our middle side?
What's our middle side?
Mm-hmm. Which side would be bigger than AB, but smaller than the last side?
And AB was the smallest, so would it be AC?
So we're looking at angle A. We want the side not touching angle A at all.
Okay, so then BC.
Good, BC. So B to C is the middle. And so our largest angle was the 128. What's our largest side?
Our largest side is, and I can't, but this is where I'm confused at. Our largest side, all of them the same side. If you don't add the numbers to it. So A, you have AC.
A to C is the largest side. Yeah, we don't know the numbers. You know, if we gave it a number, maybe it's 13 centimeters or something.
Mm-hmm.
But the point of these types of questions is we don't know that information. We don't know the information for the sides. Or on this question, we didn't know the information for the angles.
Mm-hmm.
So when we don't have that information, we can actually still put the sides in order, even though we don't know the actual measure. Whatever it measures, this would be the smallest number. This would be the middle number.
Mm-hmm.
And this would be the biggest number.
Okay.
So another type of question on this first section, this is semester 2, the very first assignment, is what side lengths can make a triangle? So if they gave you 3 sticks and one stick was 5 centimeters, one stick was 10 centimeters,
Mm-hmm.
and one was 12,
Mm-hmm.
could those actually then be connected and make a triangle?
Yes.
The issue might have, well, there's a, it looks like they can, but you can't just always trust the pictures. The
Okay.
issue you might have is maybe your side lengths are too small.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say we had 2, 3, and 12. If we put 2 on one side and 3 on the other, they would never be able to reach each other. There would just be a big open spot, and that's not a triangle. A triangle has to have connections.
Right.
So the way we know is the 2 smallest numbers, the smallest sides added together, need to be bigger than the third side. So you can see on the one with the 2 and the 3, if you did 2 plus 3, that's only 5. And when you compare it to the third side, 12, 5 is smaller than 12, and it needs to be bigger.
Okay.
So let's try this one. We want to add the 2 smallest sides together. So what are the 2 smallest sides from the 3 possible sides they gave us?
2 smallest sides are 5 and 10.
Mm-hmm. So we add those together.
Are we actually adding?
Mm-hmm.
15?
Yep. And then we compare it to the third side. The third number we haven't used is the 12.
Mm-hmm.
So is 15 bigger than 12 or is it smaller than 12?
It's bigger.
It's bigger. So since they're bigger, that will end up connecting. When we put the 5 on one side of the 12 and the 10 on the other, they're long enough to reach each other. We're going to actually touch and not have a blank spot.
Okay.